Today, we're diving into a scientifically proven writing protocol that has a direct and honestly pretty incredible impact on your physical health. We're going to uncover how a very specific kind of journaling can literally call your immune system's frontline soldiers into action.
I mean, that question sounds a little wild, right? Can the simple act of writing actually change how your body fights off sickness? Well, the research we're about to unpack in this explainer points to a very surprising and definitive yes. Okay, so to really get the solution, we first have to understand the problem. And this isn't just a psychological thing we're talking about. It's a physical, biological burden that a lot of us are carrying around without even knowing it. You see, when we go through something really tough or traumatic and we don't fully process it, that story, it just stays scattered in our brain. It's not a neat memory with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Instead, it's like this constant, low-level static that keeps your body's stress alarms humming in the background 24/7. And this is where things get serious. That constant low-grade stress is like a tax on your body's resources. It's basically telling your immune system to kind of stand down, which suppresses its ability to respond with full force when a real threat, like a virus or bacteria, actually shows up. Your internal chaos is literally weakening your external defenses. So what's the fix? Well, this is where it gets really, really interesting because the cure is completely counterintuitive. It's a very specific writing protocol that works in a way you would probably never expect. First off, this is fundamentally different from what most of us think of as journaling. This is not about gratitude lists or jotting down what you did today. No, this is about zeroing in on a single, really difficult experience. The goal isn't to feel good while you're writing. In fact, the research shows it's often distressing. The goal is a targeted, measurable, physiological change in your body. And right here, this is the paradox. The process itself is emotionally tough. It's intentionally intense. But it's this deliberate dive into that negative emotional state that triggers these profoundly positive and long-lasting physical health benefits. It's wild. So how on earth does that work, right? How does leaning into something that feels bad actually make you physically healthier? Well, it all starts by literally rewiring the story inside your brain. The magic word here is neuroplasticity. And this is not a metaphor. It is the real physical process of your brain changing its own wiring based on what you do and what you experience. This writing protocol is basically a targeted workout to trigger that exact change. Think of it like this. Before the protocol, that traumatic memory exists as just chaos. And you see reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's your brain's CEO, the logical executive part. But the act of writing forces your prefrontal cortex to get involved, to take that jumbled mess of facts and feelings and organize it into a coherent story. And that action alone strengthens the prefrontal cortex. So here's the bottom line. By building that coherent narrative, you are strengthening the very part of your brain that acts as the command center for your body's stress systems. You are literally enhancing your brain's ability to regulate your own physiology. Okay, so a rewired brain is great, but how does that affect your immune system? Well, this is where that brain-body connection becomes crystal clear. A rewired brain starts sending new, powerful signals directly to your body's defense forces. So let's meet the key players in our story. T-lymphocytes, or you can just call them T cells. Think of these guys as the elite special forces of your immune system. Their whole job is to seek out and destroy infected cells and any other foreign invaders. They're the ones you want on the wall. And here is the link. When your prefrontal cortex is stronger and your nervous system is finally calm and regulated, it stops sending those chronic stand-down signals. Instead, it sends the all clear. It tells your T cells to mobilize and get ready for battle. A more organized brain leads directly to a more prepared immune system. And here is the proof. You can literally see it. In a landmark study, researchers took blood from participants, isolated their T cells in a lab dish, and then hit them with something called a mitogen. It basically mimics an infection. The results were just stunning. The T cells from the control group, the people who just wrote about neutral topics, had a pretty weak response. But the T cells from the group that did the expressive writing, they mounted a way more aggressive counterattack. The takeaway here is so clear. The writing protocol didn't just make them feel better later on, it physically upgraded the fighting capacity of their immune cells. It literally primed them for a fight. Okay, so you've seen the science, you've seen the evidence, you're probably thinking, how can I actually do this? Let's walk through the exact research-backed protocol right now. Now, the steps are incredibly specific, and it's really important to follow them. First, you're going to focus on your single most difficult or traumatic life experience. Second, you write about it continuously for 15 to 30 minutes. The key is do not stop writing. Third, you repeat this exact process a total of 4 times. And finally, and this part is crucial, you have to give yourself about 5 to 15 minutes of quiet time afterwards to just decompress. And here are a few best practices right from the studies. First, this writing is for your eyes only. Do not plan on sharing it with anyone. Second, don't worry about spelling, grammar, making it a perfect story. None of that matters. The real goal is just honest emotional expression and reporting the facts as you remember them. And the timing is flexible. You can do it 4 days in a row or spread it out once a week for 4 weeks.
And if you're feeling a little skeptical, wondering if this is some fringe idea, get this. We're talking about a body of research that includes more than 200, yes, 200 peer-reviewed scientific studies. The positive health outcomes, from better immune function to improved sleep and even reduced chronic pain, are shown again and again.
So we'll end with a question for you to really think about. This isn't just about digging up the past. This is about taking an active role in your own biology, using a scientifically proven tool to turn a disorganized, painful narrative into a real source of physical strength. So, what story is your body waiting for you to write?